Italian architecture has a long and diverse history, deeply influenced by the country's rich cultural and artistic heritage. It spans multiple eras, from ancient Roman innovations to contemporary designs. Here's a summary of the major phases and characteristics of Italian architecture. 1. Ancient Roman architecture, 753 BC to 476 AD. Ancient Rome's architecture is one of Italy's most influential contributions to world architecture. The Romans developed innovations such as 1. Arch and dome. The Romans perfected the use of the arch, vault, and dome, allowing for larger and more durable structures. 2. Concrete. They developed and extensively used concrete, enabling the construction of massive buildings like the Pantheon and Colosseum. 3. Aqueducts and roads. Engineering marvels like the Roman aqueducts, e.g., Pont du Gard, and road systems that stretched across the empire. 4. Public spaces. Forums, basilicas, amphitheaters, and public baths, like the Baths of Caracalla, were essential to Roman city life. 5. Influences. Roman architecture was heavily influenced by the Greeks, evident in their use of columns and temples, but they adapted these to their needs. 2. Romanesque architecture, 9th–12th century. After the fall of the Roman Empire, Italy entered a period of fragmentation and the birth of regional architectural styles, leading to Romanesque architecture. This style emphasized solidity and strength. 1. Rounded arches and thick walls. The buildings were characterized by semicircular arches, thick walls, and small windows. 2. Fortress-like churches. Structures like the Pisa Cathedral and Basilica of San Miniato al Monte, Florence, reflected this defensive and solid style. 3. Decorative facades. Romanesque churches often had intricate, sculpted facades. 3. Gothic architecture. 12th–15th century, Gothic architecture followed Romanesque, introducing more light and verticality to structures. 1. Pointed arches and ribbed vaults. These allowed for taller buildings and larger windows. 2. Stained glass windows. Gothic cathedrals like Milan Cathedral feature large, ornate stained glass windows. 3. Flying buttresses. These external supports enabled thinner walls and more open spaces. 4. Rich ornamentation. Italian Gothic architecture is known for its use of ornate decoration and sculpted facades, e.g., the Orvieto Cathedral. 4. Renaissance architecture, 14th–17th century. The Renaissance originated in Italy, with Florence as a central hub. It marked a revival of classical Greco-Roman principles and emphasized harmony, proportion, and geometry. 1. Symmetry and proportions. Renaissance buildings were characterized by a balanced and harmonious design, often with symmetrical facades. 2. Domes. Inspired by Roman engineering, the dome became a Renaissance symbol, exemplified by Filippo Brunelleschi's dome for Florence's Santa Maria del Fiore. 3. Classical elements. Columns, pilasters, arches, and triangular pediments were used to evoke the ideals of ancient Greece and Rome. Palladio's Villa Rotunda is a hallmark of Renaissance architecture. 4. Notable architects. Architects like Brunelleschi, Leon Battista Alberti, and Andrea Palladio greatly influenced the design of churches, palaces, and public buildings. 5. Baroque architecture, 17th–18th century. Baroque architecture emphasized grandeur, drama, and movement, often as a tool for the Counter-Reformation. 1. Dynamic forms. Baroque structures feature curved lines, twisting columns, and elaborate detailing. 2. Ornamentation. Lavish decoration, including gilded stucco, frescoes, and sculptures, were used to create a sense of awe. 3. Emphasis on light and shadow. Baroque buildings often played with light and shadow to create drama, as seen in churches like Santivo alla Sapienza by Francesco Borromina and St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. 4. Urban planning. Baroque architecture also extended to city planning, such as the grand piazzas, squares, like Piazza Navona in Rome. 6. Neoclassical architecture, 18th–19th century. Neoclassicism drew inspiration from the classical art and architecture of ancient Greece and Rome. 1. Classical restraint. Compared to the exuberance of Baroque, Neoclassicism emphasized simplicity and clarity, with a return to strict proportions. 2. Greek and Roman influences. Neoclassical buildings feature columns, triangular pediments, and domes. La Scala Opera House in Milan and Teatro di San Carlo in Naples are famous examples. 3. Public buildings. The style was particularly popular for government buildings, theaters, and monuments. 7. Modernist architecture, 20th century. Present, in the 20th century, Italian architecture was influenced by modernist movements. 1. Futurism. A radical modernist movement that emerged in Italy in the early 20th century, celebrating technology, speed, and dynamism. Antonio Sant'Elia was a key figure. 2. Rationalism. This movement, prominent in the 1920s and 1930s, emphasized functionalism and simplicity. Notable examples include Giuseppe Terrani's Casa del Fascio in Como. 3. Fascist architecture. During Mussolini's rule, architecture was used to project power. The Ur district in Rome, with its monumental buildings like the Palazzo della Civiltà Italiana, is an example of this period. 4. Postmodernism and contemporary designs. In the latter part of the 20th century, Italian architecture embraced postmodernism, with architects like Aldo Rossi combining historical references with modern design. More recently, Renzo Piano, known for works like the Parco della Musica in Rome and the Stavros Niarchos Foundation Cultural Center in Athens, represents Italian contemporary architecture on a global stage. Key cities and examples. 1. Rome. Ancient Roman masterpieces like the Colosseum and Pantheon, Renaissance and Baroque marvels like St. Peter's Basilica. 2. Florence. The birthplace of the Renaissance, with Brunelleschi's Duomo, Piazza della Signoria, and numerous palaces. 3. Venice. Famous for its Gothic and Renaissance palaces, like the Doge's Palace and St. Mark's Basilica. 4. Milan. A mix of Gothic, Milan Cathedral, Renaissance, and modernist architecture. Italian architecture is unique for its ability to merge historical traditions with innovation, making it one of the world's most influential architectural heritages.